today's webinar, Planning Your Professional Development. This webinar shows you how to make the most of your year of service so that while you are building capacity in the community, you are also building your own capacity. The VISTA program offers a lot of resources to support your professional development, but the best way to make it happen is to start with a plan. So in this session, we'll help you craft a professional development plan and point you to resources to help also make it happen. I'm your host, Molly Pelzer from the VISTA Training Unit. Assisting me today are our partners Scott Weinrobe and Andy Clark from Education Northwest. You'll see us in the chat and the Q&A to assist you during today's session and to also help get your questions answered. So to get us started, we'd like to hear from you. Your first few weeks of service have contained a flood of information. Since you've begun getting settled into your organization, your community, and your VISTA position, tell us, what is one challenge or goal that you are going to address during your service? Use the chat box to share your responses. You may have joined VISTA to become involved in the anti-poverty cause or to learn about nonprofit management. Perhaps you saw an opportunity to become a better public speaker or to help a specific community that is meaningful to you. But we'd like to know, what is one challenge you will address during your service? And just remember, if you can't see the chat box, you can click the chat bubble at the top of the screen as displayed in the on the slide. Some other items might be that you've identified challenges related to your work and your professional development. Please share your thoughts using the chat function, and we'll give you guys just a minute to send some questions, or not some questions, but some comments in to let us know what you guys are working on during your service. What is a challenge? Let's see. So Keith is going to address working with re-entry clients. Larissa is convincing potential partners to join our coalition, which is fantastic. Let's see, Katrina is childcare for NA and AA participants. Let's see, Kyla, now you guys are going, good job. Dana is being comfortable networking in communities. That is a very good thing to keep in mind. Jane is working on writing and researching grants. I see Reese is working with recruiting volunteers, specifically males of minority groups. Let's see, Dennis is developing patience and humility in the face of adversity. Well, that is a very good thing to keep in mind, and all of us should make sure that when we're in those delicate situations, we have that in mind. Let's see, so Casey's working on fundraising. Taylor is finding donors, co-sponsors for clients. And let's see, Kimberly is working on STEM program as well. So the interest, addressing them with the interest of the Pacific Island communities, community engagement, etc. Well, you guys have really taken on a lot. I'm very glad to hear from you. Glad that you guys all found the chat panel. So now that we've learned a little bit about you, we'll go over the agenda for today. We'll start with an introduction to 3 key tools that will guide your year of service and professional development journey. We'll then share 4 steps that you can begin now to plan and reach your professional development goals, and we'll close the session with a brief walkthrough of important VISTA campus features. Then we'll open the lines for your questions. Throughout today's presentation, we'll have opportunities for you to share your thoughts and also explore the VISTA campus, so let's get started. Remember, your year of service is not just a year of community development, but also of your personal and professional development. During PSO, you learned some of the basics of understanding your VAD, creating an individual development plan, and also navigating the VISTA campus to help find resources. And now comes the fun part. It's time to take your initial thoughts and actually put them into action. So let's revisit one of your most important tools. Your responsibilities as a VISTA are outlined in the VISTA assignment description, or a VAD. At PSO, you reviewed your VAD and began to think about what it'll take to accomplish it. You and your supervisor will likely come up with additional activities to support the achievement of your objectives and also to capitalize on your unique strengths. So your VAD may be refined somewhat in the coming weeks. And I'd love to hear from you guys again. So using the chat function, share what responsibilities are in your VAD at this point. At PSO, you had an opportunity to begin identifying the knowledge and skills you'll need to be effective in your VISTA role. And whether your VAD includes fundraising or volunteer recruitment, community engagement, event management, etc., it's likely there are things in there you haven't done before. So you'll need to develop a plan to learn how to do these things. And to learn, you'll need to look at that plan a bit more closely. So we'll take a moment to review some of the responses and hear what's in your VAD. So let's see, it looks again like we have partnerships coming up, supporting emergency medical services for children, a few resource development, grant writing, more partnerships, creating training guides, outreach to local businesses, capacity building. It's great to hear about capacity building. All of us are working on that. Let's see, Rachel is community engagement, grant writing, outreach, documentation and organization, technology development, etc. Well, it looks like you guys have a lot of really great things in your VAD, and it'll be an exciting year for all of you. So moving ahead, at PSO, you began capturing your knowledge, goals, and skills on your individual development plan. If you have your plan handy, you can take a look at it now, and if you don't have the one started at PSO, you can download a copy from the VISTA campus. Andy just put the link into the chat panel. Think of your individual development plan as your bridge between your VAD and the accomplishments of your goals. You may know where you want to end up, but you're a little unsure of how to get there. Your individual development plan allows you to plot your path with concrete action steps for building your skills. And as mentioned, we know that you've started working on your IDP at PSO, but you might not have everything filled in. So take a moment now and fill in the last box, the one that's called Learning Opportunities and Resources, if you haven't done so already. If you don't have anything to add just yet, that's okay, because as we go through this webinar, we'll help you think through what tools and resources might be available to you to get those knowledge and skills that you need. So I'll give you just a minute to fill in the last box, the Learning Opportunities and Resources, if you haven't done so already. Okay. So we've identified the tools for success, your VAD responsibilities, your IDP learning goal, and also access to the VISTA campus. You are ready for professional development action. We've put together these 4 steps. After listening to other VISTAs, share tips about what helps them be successful during their service. So step 1 is get settled. You've only been a VISTA for a few weeks. You're becoming accustomed to new surroundings, a new workplace, and a new income level. And you should give yourself time to settle in and recognize that you will have questions. And remember, you don't need to know it all, but you should know where to find the answers. Review the VISTA member handbook to answer any policy-based questions. And you can also contact the VISTA member support unit with questions about your living allowance, your benefit, or the education award. You can also contact your state office for support regarding emergencies, supervisor issues, or VISTA policy. And don't forget to speak with your supervisor or other team members about the community, the project, the site, etc. And some of you may even be lucky enough to have a VISTA leader available to support you as well. Keep in mind that you have access to the entire VISTA community, community members, current members, alumni, CSOs, VISTA headquarters supervisors, etc. And remember that many of your fellow VISTAs are facing similar questions and challenges. So check out the insight Vistas have left on the Vista forums, such as recipes, tips on reducing common household costs, and more. You can also ask a question or offer your own advice. Vista also, of course, offers webinars on navigating your year of service. We regularly cover topics such as living on the living allowance, using the Education Award, and also understanding your health care. You can find recordings of all these webinars or sign up to attend a live webinar on the Webinars for Vista page. Vista is here to support you, and it's important to feel comfortable in your organization where you'll be spending most of your time as a Vista. If you haven't already, schedule a regular check-in meeting with your supervisor. Having regular meetings with your supervisor is essential to the success of your Vista goals, and this allows you to align your work with organizational priorities and soak up as much knowledge as possible, and also ensure that your project is sustainable. Next, take some time to explore what's been done before. Dive into documents that lay the foundation for your organization, including their strategic plan, mission, and vision. If there have been Vistas at your site before, review their accomplishments. And this information can be found in their past quarterly reports, which your supervisor can probably share with you. Finally, take some time to get to know your coworkers. Meet with people in various departments to learn about their roles and how you can work together. One Vista who was starting a waste reduction program at a college had lunch with the head of housekeeping. This individual turned out to be an incredibly useful ally. Her staff was on the front lines of waste management, and they were able to intervene directly to ensure that compostable waste was separated to actually create compost. These contacts are also likely to have personal connections in the community that would help you advance your service goals. If you would like to learn more about crafting good communication styles and developing a productive work environment, I encourage you to view the recorded webinar entitled Managing Up Managing Expectations. This session covers topics related to working better with your supervisor, other staff members, stakeholders, volunteers, and also some community groups. This is a great skill that you will likely need now and in the future, regardless of your career path. And once you've started making connections and identifying areas of growth, it's time to turn your VAD into action. Having a well-structured plan helps you jump into your work and plan accordingly. While you're working in the community, you may forget to record all the incredible work that you are doing. So how does one begin to create this plan? First, as we've already mentioned, meet with your supervisor to review your VAD and also develop measurable goals. Again, having regularly scheduled check-ins will ensure these goals are being reached, and it allows you to discuss questions or roadblocks. Make sure that you keep your VAD somewhere accessible in your office and refer back to it periodically to track your progress. And remember, the actions that you've set in motion should be seen far beyond your year of service. Strategize with your supervisor to determine ways that you can document your achievements and also build upon your organization's foundation to ensure your work continues. We've developed 2 webinars that focus on project sustainability, one for Vista members and another for Vista supervisors. So we hope that you'll take some time to view them and also encourage your supervisor to do the same. Next, you should create a plan to track your achievements. The Vista Impact app is a tool that allows you to track your activities using your smartphone or computer. Keeping a log of your activities and successes will not only help you when reports are due, but it will also give you an incredible record of your achievements to reference after you finish your service term. The Impact app is available on the Vista campus, and we'll actually show you how to access it during our brief campus walkthrough at the end of this presentation. We also encourage you to view a recorded webinar highlighting the Vista Impact app, and you can find those details on the Vista campus. And just so you know, we call it an app, but it isn't anything that you need to download. You'll learn more about the Vista Impact app in just a little bit. So you've begun identifying action steps and have been making connections in your community. It's time to determine ways to improve those skill sets identified in your VAD. And you may not have created an asset map or communication plan for fundraising, and that's okay. There are many resources available to help get you started. One of your most accessible resources is the Vista Campus. You can use the work section that contains self-paced tutorials covering a variety of specific skills. And as you know, we host webinars covering topics such as recruiting volunteers, holding effective meetings, and also building community networks. So while the topics change, Vista stores the recordings of these learning sessions on the Webinars for Vista's page on the campus. Vista also offers online courses called the Vista Blend. These courses can be completed for college credit, which is exciting. But you should first consult with your supervisor and plan your workload accordingly before taking advantage of these learning opportunities. And I want to make sure that you know that applications are currently being accepted for the upcoming summer session of the Vista Blend. You can see the Vista Campus for details, or you can email vistablend@cns.gov. And don't worry if you can't take the Vista Blend right now. We offer the Vista Blend 3 times a year. We usually offer a winter, summer, and fall session. So you can go to the Vista Campus to learn more about the blend. And while the Vista Campus is always a good place to begin accomplishing your knowledge goals, remember that there are many other free and reputable resources available to help get you started. Many local libraries have access to online databases and grant writing resources, and all you need is a library card. Even with all of the digital and high-tech resources, libraries are still valuable learning sites. Librarians are usually well-versed in the latest digital trends and resources, and not to mention, libraries probably have community bulletin boards that you can use to post notices for volunteers or upcoming meetings, and maybe also find a recreational or social network for you to join. You can also carefully turn to the internet for free resources. Sites like Coursera and Khan Academy provide free online courses from Ivy League institutions. Check with your supervisor to see if they have any professional affiliations, and if they are not attending any free online trainings through their memberships, you may be able to make the case for attending. And finally, take advantage of the new networks your Vista position will expose you to. A great place to start is with a YPN, or Young Professionals Network, because they often offer networking, professional development, and volunteer opportunities. There's even a Young Nonprofit Professionals Network. You can check out ynpn.org to find a local chapter. And if there isn't a local chapter, maybe you should consider starting one. Many of you are probably on LinkedIn, which is another great resource for making connections. So spend some time scouring your current contacts, because there might be someone who is only 1 or 2 connections away from you in your new location or connected to your Vista service. And don't forget to take advantage of the networks you already have membership into, such as regional or local alumni groups. Some colleges or universities have mentorship programs or have a means of connecting you to other alumni where you can establish your relationship. Maybe you were even a part of a fraternity or a sorority that has a local branch in your area. All of these groups often hold networking or social events where you can make more connections, build your skills, get to know the community, etc. Professional organizations are another really great resource available to help meet your knowledge goals. In addition to connecting you with other individuals in your field, these organizations can offer significant professional development and networking opportunities. While not all of these events and resources are free, it never hurts to see what's happening in your area and ask your supervisor if you might be able to attend. Some of these organizations on the screen have entire sections of their websites dedicated to professional development and career advancement. Those of you in the financial development field should definitely check out the Association for Fundraising Professionals website and explore their professional development section. It includes everything: conferences, leadership training, executive institutes, certificate options, and more. VISTA's working with volunteers should look at the Council for Certification in Volunteer Administration. Review the certificate requirements and see if it sounds like something you might want to do later in your career. Even if you won't complete the certificate now, you can still glean great tips and resources from their website related to volunteer engagement and management. Don't forget about Points of Light as well as Energize Inc. Energize Inc. has tools directly related to career advancement within the volunteer management field. For those of you in communications and marketing, the Public Relations Society of America understands that nonprofits face unique challenges. Their website has seminars, newsletters, and other resources developed to help professionals work with public relations and manage skills directly relevant to the nonprofit and association environment. And if your VISTA service includes developing a training program or an education series, check out the Association for Talent Development. You'll be able to subscribe to newsletters, watch webinars, and follow and learn from leaders in the field of training and curriculum design. Additionally, if any of you are serving at a NeighborWorks organization, and even if you're not, be sure to explore many of the training opportunities offered by NeighborWorks. NeighborWorks America offers training on everything from nonprofit leadership skills to professional development, community development, community assessment, supporting minority populations, etc. And finally, don't overlook your local development opportunities, such as those offered by a volunteer center, the United Way, Chamber of Commerce, Urban League, or national organizations that might have a local branch in your community. Chamber organizations often host professional mixers as well as events directed towards emerging community professionals. And again, while there might be a fee for many of these resources we mentioned, don't be afraid to ask your supervisor if you could pick one resource or training to pursue. There's also a chance that scholarships might be offered through the associations or training institutes, and it never hurts to apply. So we'd like to hear from you again, and I see that some of you have already sharing some great resources in the chat panel. But what are some resources that you found really beneficial or helpful for your professional development? Has there been an affinity group or professional organization? Is there a website? Was there a fascinating TED Talk that you think will really work with you or support your VISTA service? We're going to look at a few of the responses in the chat box, and it looks like Phil has reached out to some of the resources available through Points of Light, which is a wonderful organization. Let's see, there's local nonprofits. There's a local nonprofit network, also a sorority, which is fabulous. Helen has found the Rotary International Group useful. Alumni student groups is also great. Looks like volunteer.org, I think maybe volunteermatch.org is also mentioned. Let's see, hungernet.org is something that Lori likes to use. Professional organization and conferences is great. RECE is using Big Brothers Big Sisters, and it sounds like they have an online training for volunteers and staff, which is wonderful. Larissa mentioned Eat That Frog a couple times, and there's also a YouTube link in there. So let's see. Yep, they looked it up. The Eat That Frog, great procrastinating. All right, that would be one that I think all of us could look at every once in a while. And also, we have a communitytoolbox.org, which is a wonderful resource, which is fantastic. So you guys really have some great resources and tools to share. So thank you all so much for sharing those. And I can see that they are still coming in. So greenlights.org. Looks like there's a few other links in there. Best TED Talk ever about a new way to look at nonprofits. The way we think about charity is dead wrong. So go to TED Talk and search for the way we think about charity is dead wrong. So, all right, and Andy reminds us we've got the Vista Campus, and there's also a time management webinar that we'll tell you about in a little bit as well. All right, well, thank you all so much for sharing those wonderful resources. That was a great list. So this takes us to our final step. Step 4, get connected. You are part of the Vista family. You may not have other Vistas at your site, but you can always connect through the Vista campus. Fill out your project area and interest in your campus user profile and interact with other Vistas on the forums by posting a question or a suggestion. The map can be filtered according to focus area, service start date, role, and the roles include member, alumni, supervisor, and state office as well. Be sure to connect with Vista through social media such as Facebook and Twitter. And if you haven't already, identify yourself as an AmeriCorps Vista member on your LinkedIn profile and connect to the Vista groups available on LinkedIn. And if there are Vistas in your area, arrange a meetup to come together face-to-face and share what you all are doing and learning. You can, again, find Vista, other Vistas in your area along with alumni and leaders by using the Vista map. And think about reaching out to alumni because they often know the area and are happy to help current Vistas, and they were also willing to share their wisdom. And as a Vista family member, don't be afraid to show your Vista pride. You never know where you may make a connection with someone else who knows about the program. So make sure to identify yourself as a Vista by putting the logo on your business card or in your email signature and also on your organization's website, social media platforms, brochures, other communications, etc. Let's see, in the web links that Andy will post into the chat, you'll be able to see places where you can get some Vista publications and gear to use your office, to decorate your office and also represent Vista in the field. And remember that you started developing your minute message, a short message about your organization and your role as a Vista at PSO. Make sure to rehearse it often so that it comes easily to you and you can explain quickly what you do. There are plenty of resources on the Vista campus that can teach you about creating those minute messages. And when you are out and about in the community, don't forget to take pictures and share them through your social media outlets. You never know when Vista may share or retweet your photo or your service story. Once you're clear on what you're setting out to accomplish, get to know your community. This may feel a bit daunting, leaving you unsure of where to start, and there are so many assets, people, places, and issues impacting your community. So start by doing some preliminary research. Oftentimes, other organizations have already done research on your community, such as a needs assessment or community study. Search local newspapers for articles that might give you a pulse on what is moving and shaking in your area, and research websites, blogs, or other social media channels that are producing reliable local content. In a community, face-to-face interaction is vital for establishing trust. Attend social functions such as community festivals, networking events, neighborhood meetings, open houses, or other fundraisers, because just being seen in the community and being supportive of other events in the community makes more people want to be more invested in your work. Begin scheduling site meetings and site visits with community leaders that you've met at these events, and cast a wide net at first, and then take time in the beginning of your service when you are still getting your feet wet to discover new learning partners and connections. So to recap, here are your 4 steps to maximize your effectiveness as a Vista. First, Make sure to get settled into your life as a Vista. Get to know the program, your site, and your community. Turn your VAD into action by developing your learning goals and holding yourself accountable for reaching them. And take time to learn about the resources available to you both inside and outside of the Vista campus. And finally, get connected with other Vistas, alumni, and others who may want to know more about the program and what you're doing. So now that we've identified the knowledge goals and discussed additional activities, let's learn what support is available on the Vista campus. The Vista campus may be a familiar site to you from PSO. It's also your knowledge resource and community hub for all things Vista. In addition to providing you with resources to be successful in your Vista duties, the campus allows you to connect with others while working in your program area, living around the same location, or facing similar questions and knowledge goals. All right, so now Scott is going to give us a little tour of the Vista campus. You've heard about a few features that will help you stay connected and informed: the Vista Campus Benefit Hub, your learning plan, and your learning connections. And so Scott will switch over to you and to discuss these and a few other resources.
Well, thank you very much, Molly, and hi, everyone. It's really nice to be with you all today and to have the chance to talk with you a little bit about the Vista campus. So first of all, the campus is designed, we hope, to be really easy to navigate. The main menu options are at the top, and you'll just want to roll over and explore the different sections. Check out especially the Life as a Vista and the Work sections. You'll find lots of good resources there. Under Life as a Vista and in Service, you can access our one-stop benefits hub. So this page provides information about all of your benefits as a Vista member, including your living allowance, health care, and so on, and also where to go if you have questions. You can find an overview of each benefit and then click on the Resources tab to find more detailed information. Molly mentioned the Vista Impact app, and that's also accessible through the Life as a Vista menu. As Molly mentioned, the Impact app is really just a mobile-friendly website, so it'll work on any phone or computer web browser. It's not a mobile native app that requires a certain type of smartphone to use. When you go to the Impact app through this link, you'll be asked to log in again, but you can just use your same Vista Campus username and password to access the Impact app. Another feature of the campus that I'm excited to share with you all is the learning plan. You can get to that from your home page or also from the menu underneath your name in the upper right part of the screen. So the learning plan contains your required learning, which is really just the courses, including the Terms and Conditions course that you took prior to your pre-service orientation. Suggested learning, that column shows resources that were assigned to you automatically when you signed up for your campus account, and also when you make learning connections and they suggest resources to you, those also appear in the suggested learning column. And then finally, the favorite content column includes resources that you've bookmarked. So this is a place to go if you find something that you find really useful. You can bookmark it and then just come back to it, find it on your learning plan rather than navigating again through the campus to find that particular resource. So to actually add something to your learning plan, first of all, you would just find it on the campus. So let's say I'm looking for, excuse me, a resource on resumes. So I type resume in the search field, and then let me filter down a little bit more. I heard there was a webinar recently on resumes, and I'm interested. So I can go down to Format, select Recorded Webinar. And there are actually a few different ones. I find one here that sounds really interesting. Excuse me, translating Vista service to your resume and career. And if I scroll down, I can click the Add This to My Learning Plan button, and then it will appear in my favorite content on my learning plan. So I mentioned that you can make learning connections, and those connections can suggest training to you. You can also access your learning connections through the menu underneath your name and clicking My Account, and then click the Learning Connections tab. Then you can search for people by name, so I'm going to look for my supervisor. And here she is, Celia Supervisor. To request a learning connection, all I have to do is click the little plus button, or plus icon next to her name, and I would send a learning connection. When she accepts it, then we're connected. And at that point, we can send private messages through the campus or suggest training to each other. So another way to find connections is through the Vista map. Let's say you're looking for people in your area. Just go to Connect and Learn and click on Vista map. We have a few different filters. You can filter by focus area. You could filter by the month that the person started. You could filter by their role, whether they're a member or a supervisor, a Vista leader, and so on. Once you, and then you're going to, of course, just zoom around. Excuse me, in the map, find a pin and click on it. That'll bring a pop-up menu with some information about the person. And if that's the person you want to connect with, again, just click the plus icon to request a connection. So that's a really quick tour of the Vista campus, and I hope you all find it useful and enjoy exploring. And now let me go ahead and turn the presentation back to Molly.
Great. Thank you so much, Scott. It's always great to get a Vista campus tour to show us about some of the new areas on there. And we've covered a lot of information today, so we'd like to hear from you again. Taking into account your 4 steps for action, what is one next step that you will take today after this webinar ends? You may want to bookmark the member handbook on your learning plan, or you might want to schedule coffee with a coworker, search for the next date for a community association meeting, maybe schedule that meeting or that regular check-in with your supervisor. So using the chat function, what can you guys do today? Let's hear from you. All right, so it looks like we have a few coming in. And we have Dana is going to download the app. Selena is going to review her VAD with her supervisor, which is great. The webinar has been very helpful, always good to hear. So Jane is going to connect with other Vistas in her area, which is wonderful. Put that Vista app, the map, to work. Let's see. Ooh, you guys got a lot of stuff coming in here. Kelly is going to get more coffee, always important. Definitely understand that. We also see some folks that are going to update their LinkedIn, which is wonderful. Make sure you wear that AmeriCorps Vista badge proudly. We also have some other folks that are going to download the app, explore the Vista campus, check out other webinars. Updating LinkedIn, adding information to email signature, which is fantastic. So let's see, it looks like a couple more that I'll share. Esther is going to review her VAD and set up measurable goals, which is fantastic. Also very important, sign up for the healthcare. Yes, that's good. Go to networking events, etc., and also check out the the resume webinar, looking at Toastmasters, which is a wonderful resource. I'm going to remember to add that to our other webinars. So great. Well, you guys have really covered a lot here. We'll review some immediate next steps, but I think you guys already have a really pretty good grasp on what your next steps should be. But first, we hope that you take time to complete your individual development plan. Use this webinar and the Vista campus to enhance and identify some goals if you haven't already. And again, I can't underscore this enough. Schedule a regular meeting with your supervisor if you haven't already. Just reach out to them and schedule one. Also, I hope that you identify one resource. Maybe it's a webinar or self-paced course or helpful video or a book to add to your learning plan for review, and also reach out to another campus user through the Learning Connections feature on the Vista campus. Finally, I hope that you all research a professional organization in your current field or in a field that interests you, and investigate a typical career path in that area while looking at their online trainings, resources, and webinars that they might have available. So we've given you a lot to think about, and I'm sure you have some questions. But before we start the Q&A session, I would love to have your feedback on this presentation. You should now see, or in a few seconds, an evaluation poll will pop up on the right side of your screen. Please take time to answer the questions in the poll because we like to improve these webinars and we really appreciate your input, so we hope that you're honest. And also, while you're completing the evaluation, we'll go ahead and start the Q&A session of the webinar. So now it's time for your questions. You can ask a question using the Q&A panel located on the right side of your screen, or I will ask our operator, Arlene, to come back on the line and remind us how to ask questions using the phone.
Why, thank you. If you have a question, audio participants, if you have a question, please press *1 and state your first and last name clearly when prompted. Unmute your phone. And if you would like to withdraw your question once you press *1, please press *2 and you can withdraw your question. Once again, if you have a question, please press *1 and record your first and last name clearly when prompted. One moment, please, while we wait for our first question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arlene. While we wait for questions to come in via the phone, we'll go ahead and start looking at questions that we have coming in via the online module. First question that I see is from Crystal. Crystal would like to know, is there a way Vista can pay for professional development, for example, an out-of-state conference? Unfortunately, Crystal, there's no way that Vista will be able to pay for that on your behalf. What I would encourage you to do is speak to your supervisor to see if maybe there's a local grant or an organization that might be willing to sponsor you. I would also reach out to the conference that you would like to attend and see if they have any scholarship opportunities available. Many of the professional development or all of the professional development opportunities that Vista offers will be accessible primarily through the Vista campus online and also through your Vista network. So unfortunately, Vista is unable to spend additional dollars on that, although we would love to promote all of your professional development. Let's see. Helen would like to know, do you have advice for managing priorities and expectations that may differ between your site supervisor and your Vista leader? Helen, that is a great question. And first of all, I would like to applaud you for recognizing that not everyone is on the same page. And I think one of the best ways to get everyone on the same page and speaking the same language is to have a meeting. So I think that it would be beneficial for you and your supervisor and the leader to all meet and hopefully chart a clear course or at least understand what the differences are so that you can do some course correcting. We also do have some webinars coming up, or actually we have one that's recorded. It's called Managing Up, Managing Expectations. And there are some tips and tricks in that webinar for addressing how to work with differing opinions or different communication styles, etc. So we wish you luck. And at the end of the day, we know that you'll support your Vista service, and hopefully everyone after the meeting will be on the same page. Let's see. Phil has a question that is a hot topic within the Vista universe, and Phil says, I hear that from today we can now seek employment in addition to Vista. Is this true? Well, Phil, I am very happy to report that, yes, Vista has changed their work policy. The best place for you all to go and get the updated policy and review some frequently asked questions is on the Vista campus. Make sure that you do that. And also make sure that you speak with your supervisor. Vista headquarters sent out an email earlier this week to currently serving members, Vista supervisors, and also others within the Vista universe. And there's a few rules that you'll need to follow. Primarily, we expect that when you signed on as a Vista member, Vista will be your #1 priority. We want that to be, Vista still needs to be your #1 priority. The work should not interfere in any way, and there's also some other rules and caveats. So before you go out and get employment, make sure you check out the Vista campus and also speak to your supervisors. So I'm going to take a break from the online questions and check in with Arlene to see if we have any questions via the phone just yet.
At this time, Ms. Pelzer, there are no questions in the Q&A.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a couple more questions online, so I'll keep going through on that. Jeannie would like to know, when will we be able to sign up for loan forbearance? I tried yesterday, and nothing was available on My AmeriCorps. Well, Jeannie, it depends which pre-service orientation you went to. If you went to pre-service orientation just last week in Los Angeles, you might not be activated just yet. And in order to work through all of the things in the portal and have those additional opportunities available to you, you'll need to first be activated. So I would give it just until the end of the week. If you can't get on and take care of your loans this week and you try on next Monday and it also doesn't work, make sure that you reach out to the Vista Member Support Unit using the National Service Hotline, and they'll be able to help you. Okay, Jamie would like to know what the app is. She can download it at the Play Store, and Andy reminded us that the app is a mobile-friendly website. You'll need to access it from the web browser, and the app is available on the Vista campus. Michael has a question about health insurance. Does the Vista health insurance cover pre-existing conditions? And Michael, it's a little bit more complicated than that, unfortunately. So the health benefit that Vista offers does not cover pre-existing conditions, but there's two types of plans or groups that you can participate in with regards to our health care. So if you already have insurance outside of Vista, you fall into one category, and if you don't have health insurance, you fall into a different category. So the important thing for everyone to know that with regards to health insurance, there's a couple things you need to take care of. The first thing is that you need to go to healthcare.gov and see what your liability and responsibilities are for having insurance. You may or may not be required to purchase insurance or have insurance outside of the Vista benefit. Once that determination is made, you need to go to the IMG website, the International Medical Group website, and they will be able to walk you through how to create an account, how to enroll in the appropriate plan, etc. So I would direct you, first of all, Michael, to healthcare.gov, as well as the Vista campus, the healthcare section on there, and then also the IMG International Medical Group to take care of any of those questions as well. So, all right. David would like to know if it's possible to get a copy of the presentation so we can review the resources listed on different pages. And absolutely, as Andy mentioned, you'll receive an email in a little over a week that will have the recording available on the website, and you'll be able to page through and look at all the website. All right, Selena has another question about healthcare. When will we receive an email as indicated at PSO? You should receive an email shortly if you haven't already. It should be within the first week or so of your service. You can, however, go directly to the Vista campus and look at the healthcare section and also follow the steps that are available in there. So, okay. Helen would like to, let's see, so there's a lot of questions about healthcare. Does the healthcare allowance cover out-of-pocket dental expenses? And Helen, it doesn't always. Again, depending on what plan or what group you fall into, the Vista healthcare benefit would cover emergency dental work. So if you were on a construction site and you managed to get injured or clocked in the face with a 2x4, that would be an emergency situation, and so that would be covered. Unfortunately, the routine dental care I do not believe is covered. Okay. Karen would like to know, where is the info about confirmation of seeking employment while with Vista? And Scott very nicely posted the information directly on the Vista campus. So if you guys go to vistacampus.gov, you can look at the resources section, or you can type for outside employment, and I believe it should come up. Let's see. I'm going to check in with Arlene one more time, see if we have any questions via the phone just yet.
At this time, Ms. Pelzer, there are no questions in the queue. However,
Okay.
if you have a question, please press *1 and state your name clearly. But at present, there are no questions.
Great. Thank you. Let's see. There is another question about healthcare, and let's see. I know recently Vista changed their insurance policy, which is no longer Seven Corners. That's correct. We're with IMG, International Medical Group. So if we do not want insurance coverage from Vista and sign the waiver with Seven Corners, will that be transferred over to the new insurance coverage? The answer to that is no. You also need to make sure that you reach out and connect with IMG, the International Medical Group, because you need to verify that you have some sort of insurance or that you are exempt from having your own insurance. So the process is a little bit different now. Again, I'll encourage you all to go to the Vista campus and search for healthcare and look at the healthcare page. And then also to make sure that you check out healthcare.gov as well as IMG, the International Medical Group. Melissa would like to know, will we be able to produce documentation of our stipend amount, specifically what we receive monthly? Melissa, you can call the Vista Member Support Unit and ask them for assistance with this. They will be able to tell you exactly the amount that you'll be receiving. And it's also possible that your supervisor will need to confirm or perhaps author or write a letter if you need a letter or documentation or proof. So call the Vista Member Support Unit. They can guarantee and confirm the amount that you'll receive, and then your supervisor should be able to produce a documentation. All right. Let's see. Kelsey would like to know, will IMG be sending insurance cards as well? Yes, all of you will get a welcome packet from IMG, again, depending on what plan you're in, but IMG will be able to give you lots of information, and we'll be able to give you your cards, your welcome book. You also will be able to have an account online, so if you haven't sent that up already, make sure that you go ahead and do that. All right, well, you guys still got some great questions coming in. Let's see, Eric would like to know about time tracking. Where do we do it? How should we record it, and who should we send it to? Eric, that's a good question. I will tell you that your commitment to the VISTA program is 365 days of service. VISTA does not require a number of hours or a quota that you have to hit in order to complete your service, because we want to see you for those 365 days. However, your supervisor or the organization that you're working with may ask you to track your time so that they can keep track of leave or sick time, etc. So ask your supervisor what they would like you to do, and then you should be able to take it from that perspective. Your supervisor does have some reports and information that they will need to submit to confirm that you've been serving on your site, but any hours tracking is not required from Vista. Okay. All right, and Selena did a little homework already, and she says to purchase health insurance on the marketplace, talk with a navigator. They can be very helpful when selecting an insurance policy, which, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that. All right, let's see. So I think we've hit most of the questions. I'm just going to take another quick look and make sure that I got it. Okay. It looks like there's a lot of questions about healthcare. So I would encourage, or I'm going to encourage you all to make sure that you take a look at the healthcare section of the Vista campus, and also reach out to the International Medical Group, IMG. They are very knowledgeable about the Vista program as well as what the rules and regulations are related to the Affordable Care Act. So they'll be able to answer your specific and unique individual questions. So, okay. I'm going to do one more question, and then I'm going to wrap us up and take it home. So Montana would like to know, is it appropriate to call my supervisor, or should I just communicate through email? Well, Montana, there might be a few ways for you to communicate with your supervisor. Sometimes an email is all it takes. Other times it's easier to pick up the phone. I would encourage you to discuss communication preferences with your supervisor and also let your supervisor know how you prefer to be communicated with. Sometimes as you're starting a relationship, a working relationship, it's good to talk via phone, and then maybe send an email to summarize the conversation to make sure everyone is on the same page and expectations are clear. So, great. Well, you guys have been a wonderful group. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for your service, and I hope that you found this helpful, and I'm sure that you will do great work. So thank you all so much for being with us today, and have a wonderful year of service.